So as we move from gratitude into honoring our pain for the world around the spiral here, I want to take a moment to just reflect and explore a little bit and to get clear on what we're doing here and why we're doing it. This part of the spiral, in my view, is the most important part. This is where the real work gets done. This is where we start to change who we are and how we respond to our world. This is where we take back our power. Now, I know that it seems scary for a lot of us to open that door towards that grief, towards trying to express our feelings. And I want to acknowledge that there's some real reasons for that. As we discussed before, we are at a late stage version of colonialism that has been going on for thousands of years. The conquering and attempt to destroy intact cultures across the whole globe, all the way through Europe and Africa and North America and South America and Australia and all over the world. This process of disrupting intact societies and displacing them from their land and their culture, from our land and our culture. This has happened to all of us in one way or another at one time or another. And so at this point in time, if we're looking to turn our society from an industrial growth society or a dominator-destroyer version of society to a life-sustaining society, we have to go back and pick up the most essential pieces that have been taken away through that process of colonization. And I would say that one of, if not the most important aspect of our cultures that has been taken away from us is our ability to feel and express grief. Now, grief is an expression of love, deep love, the ability to really, truly love something so much that in its loss, we come undone. That we are able to allow ourselves to express and really feel that love all the way through. And in the process of colonization, and all the different methods and modalities that have been used in an attempt to destroy culture, there has been a very systematic methodology for taking our emotions away from us, for making it unsafe and illegal and inappropriate to feel and express emotions, especially emotions like grief. Now, this has a lot of cultural impacts, and we could get into this. We could go all over the map with that. But the one that is kind of critical to our work here today is that it takes away our ability to respond to harms that are being done, to directions that we may be going in, that we're getting feedback from the earth, from our world, that this is not an okay way to go. Now, we feel all sorts of feelings in response to the world because we're part of the world. But we've been trained and conditioned so much to subdue them and to keep them inside that they wind up twisting and turning inside of us because they can't come out. They can't express themselves. We can't see them for what they are. And so therefore, we cannot respond to them in a proactive and empowered way. This work here, which is part of the spiral of the work that reconnects, that stems out of despair work, despair and empowerment work, is absolutely an essential resource and tool for us to use at this point in time to reawaken and reopen that channel, that feedback channel from the earth, from the world. And we can look clearly to some of the references to intact cultures that we've been graced with by some of the modern writers and people who have tried to express and explore intact cultures and share them with the modern world. So the two that I reference and that I go to that have taught me quite a lot are Malidoma Somé from the Dogara community of West Africa, who thoroughly explores in his books the importance of grief rituals and community grieving and being able to be together in expressing our grief. And then also Martin Prechtel, who is coming from a perspective of the Highland Tzotzil Mayan people from Guatemala, and he describes and expresses the importance and the connection between grief and gratitude, and how grief is that expression of love, and love is that expression of grief, and that ecstatic connective power that is for us as human beings who love, human beings who are part of the world. And when that's taken away, how easily then we are manipulated, how easily then we are herded by our fear. And so as we are looking to subvert and overturn and transform and transmute this industrial growth society and to allow a life-sustaining society to emerge from it, we need to be doing this work of turning towards our grief, expressing our grief, letting it kind of wash through us and open that channel. And I picture like a creek, like a mountain stream that's all log jammed. It's got all logs and branches and brush all clogged up in it, and then the snow melts come down. That snow melts and the river starts to rush, and it just whoosh, pushes through all of that debris and allows that water to run clear. That's the kind of power and the kind of energy that we need. We need to open those channels so that the communication from the earth herself can come through us and can guide us and show us what a life-sustaining society looks like. So we're going to venture into this time now of honoring our pain for the world. And like I said, it may be difficult, and it may be scary, it may be awkward, it may be kind of like we're not sure how to do it, and that's all okay. We're here in this time in our lives, in this time in the great arc of the social experience, not knowing how to do this. But we're going to co-create a safe container, hold it together. I'm going to walk us through how to do that. And then as we enter into this safe container, I invite you to just fully be yourself. Don't try to be sad. Don't try to grieve. Don't try anything. Just be present to the best of your ability and allow to emerge what emerges. And here we are going to just take good care of each other. We're going to pay attention and allow each and every one of us to go where we need to go. And it's going to look different for each one of us. So I invite you now to begin to prepare yourself for going into this time of paying attention to what our hearts are telling us about what is happening in our world. Thanks.